Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inside IIM. My name is Charul, and I'm glad to be back with yet another conversation on how to make the best use of your time before joining a B school in 2022. Well, we understand that this is a very stressful time for everyone who is expecting the B school results. Please hold on to your nerves. You're almost there. This time can be leveraged in multiple ways to upskill yourself and to help you actually figure out the ways in which you can actually do this. Today we have with us Niharika Gupta. So thank you so much, Niharika, for making time for this conversation. I'd request you to please introduce yourself to our audience before we start today's conversation.
Great. Thanks, Charul. And more than glad to be a part of Inside IIM and share my experiences with the larger audience. So today I am a working professional, so I'll move backwards. So for the last 10 months, I've been working with Colgate-Palmolive. I work as a sales and marketing management trainee here. I got this job right out of campus. So I did my MBA from IIM Lucknow. I am a part of IIM Lucknow batch of 21. So I started my MBA in 2019. Before that, I've worked for 2.5 to 3 years with Vedanta Limited. There I was working in the capacity of a B2B sales and marketing key account manager, which gave me, the interest or the insight to pursue a career ahead in marketing. So that is what my work experience was like. And even before that, like most of the B school students, I was an engineer as well. So I've done my engineering. I've done my BTech in chemical engineering from NIT Durgapur. So I graduated back in 2016. So this is, what my educational experience spans like. Interspersed with all of this, I've done multiple internships because I felt that was a key building block for me to identify what areas I'm interested in, what excites me, and most importantly, what does not excite me. So this is how, I've mostly tackled my professional life so far.
That's great. So many things over there. Happy to have you. So before we get into the technical questions, I would want to know how was your mental space specifically when you were expecting your results? How were you managing your anxieties and nervousness and everything?
Oh, okay. So for me, this is a very emotional question for me because it was not just me, it was my family who was equally involved in this process. And for me, it was like a very funny thing happened. I was on IIM Lucknow waitlist 1 for around a month. So, for me, it was like if whether I'm going to convert it or not. So, most of the people would, keep their bets and they would be like, be optimistic and say things like, ye to convert ho hi jayega because last year this rank did convert and things like that. So people would give such insights, but unless you get that confirmation email, you don't really, get that confidence to go out to the world and say that, hey, I've already made it to IIM Lucknow. Right. So, and there was a time when, so my entire family went to drop me to campus. So my father made me book my flight tickets for the entire family even before I converted. He was like, just do it. We might as well save the money or spend the money. So for me, it was a lot of anxiety. And my friends also, like my friends who were in Kolkata at that time, knew that I was very, very anxious about Lucknow because that was my best call at the time. So it was very, very nerve-wracking for me. All the other calls I had converted in the first list. So I'm Kozhikode, I had converted in the first list and I had already submitted, the token amount and everything. But Lucknow, which was my best call, it was my first interview also. So I was not very well prepared and I thought that it didn't go that well also. So I was like, I don't know, hoga, nahi hoga. It was extremely nerve-wracking for me and my family. And they just gave up after I would ask these questions 10 times in a day. And I called up the IIM Lucknow admin people so many times asking ki next waitlist kab move hoga, next waitlist kab move hoga. I think they regularly received 2 to 3 calls from me every day asking ki waitlist kab move hoga. But they didn't move it for a month.
So how did it finally feel that all that patience had come to rest and you had finally got the call and result?
For me, it felt like great. I'm not going to lie. I was, one of those people who really looked up to the red brick, old B school, IIM campuses with all that glittering, shimmering eye.
Right.
I was very, very happy. I was overwhelmed. I was exhilarated. So I think it was an extremely happy moment for me and my family. So I was very happy to have made it to IIM Lucknow. I was very nervous and scared at the same time. So that feeling quickly came in where I was like, okay, now that I am at an IIM, I need to do really well. But I was like extremely happy. That was like one of, most cherishing feelings for me.
Right. That's awesome. So how did you try to make the best use of your time, and did you do some specific things to improve yourself, to upskill yourself?
Okay. So I asked this question to a lot of my seniors who were at an IIM at that time.
Mhm.
So they told me that abhi zyada mat karo. Once you join a B school, you're going to anyway have like a lot of things to do. You'll anyway be working a lot. So relax, don't burn out.
Hmm.
But saying that and doing that is very different. For example, like people who have that strive to do well even once they enter an IIM, they're not going to listen to such sensible advice. They're going to be like, no, let's go ahead and make the most of whatever time we
Right.
have. So irrespective of all the suggestions that my seniors gave, and rightly so, I didn't relax. I did burn myself out. So I was like working with a startup, and so I was like literally working with them for 3 months. That is the time period
Hmm.
from when the cat I gave cat to when I joined the B school, 3.5 months. So I was like working in the capacity of a team lead there, trying to maybe understand how a startup is like, etc., the space that interested me. So yeah, I did do that. I wanted to like make the most of my experience, and it was a very different experience from what I'd done before, because I'd worked in a big company before. I'd worked in a multinational, so I wanted to see how working in a startup is like, and I wanted to learn. So
Right.
yeah, also I didn't want to like join a multinational and then leave it. But with the startup, I had told them that, look, I've written CAT and I'm going to be joining this B school in so and so time. So I was there on a limited short-term assignment sort of a thing, where they had clearly told me what's expected out of me. So yes, I did use my time that way. So it was like a full-time role only for me. So I was working each day. So I was doing this. And apart from this, like my seniors had told me that whatever you've done in the past, just get in touch with the people who were working with you or who you were working for, because once you enter a B school, you're supposed to make a CV, and you're going to
Hmm.
have to show all the documents or write emails to the person to get approvals for whatever points you're writing. So I also used that time and opportunity to connect with the other stakeholders that I was involved or associated with in the former years of my life. So that helped me to smoothen processes out once I joined the B school. These were the two things that I was doing mostly.
Right. So, as you were talking about your experience with the startup, what were the basic learnings which you felt helped you when you got into your B school, be it during the summer internships or your final placements?
Okay. So when I was working at the startup, so I did learn a lot, and it was very different. It was a much more accelerated learning curve as compared to the MNC, and it was very different because
Mhm.
these two ecosystems are very different. So the most basic thing is that you get to write about your learnings and experiences on your CV. And I was working in the capacity of a team lead, so I was able to show that as a position of responsibility. So once you enter a B school, you have to sit for your summer placements. So it helped me in two ways. A, it helped me prepare my CV really well, where it was one of the instrumental points which went into my CV. Two, it gave me enough talking points during the interviews where I could compare and contrast as to how the learnings of MNC were different from the learnings at a startup, what worked, pros and cons, basically, how it helped me shape myself as a person. Because when I was working as a team lead, I was also working as a people manager. There were people that I was supposed to help and guide. So how does a team leader really function? How do you understand the skill set of your team? You understand your own skill set, and how do you supplement it in the best possible manner to bring output that is useful for the business. So these are the things
Right.
that really helped me, and these are the things that I could speak about even during my interviews. And it gave a lot of diversity of experience to my profile, because this was something very different from what I had done before. So I think these things really helped me, because I was also trying to understand and experiment what is it that I'm really enjoying, or I'm really, fond of. What should I do once I join a B school? So I think it was a great, great experience.
Right, that's awesome. And like based on what you just said, that you were in contact with your seniors and the alums of the particular colleges. So how do you think they guided you? Because I believe that when you're looking out for activities to amp up your CV or profile, you might have a lot of resources and tips, but how to make sure that the person you're reaching out to is actually going to help you. How
Okay.
do these networks actually help you in a way?
Okay.
Right.
So what I believe is that see, once you're a candidate who has not entered a B school, you don't really know what's in store for you.
Mhm.
So it's important to learn from others' experiences. People
Right.
who are at the B school have already lived what you are going to live in the next 6 months. So learn from the ones who know it. So that was my strategy always in every stage of my life. What I do is that I use my personal network internally to find out people who have reached, are doing things which I aspire to do in the future. And also, I reach out to people very randomly on LinkedIn as well. And people are actually very responsive and sweet and do take out time for guidance. So it is important to reach out to a set of people because everybody will give you a different set of advice, and you need to filter it out and understand what works best for you. So the best strategy to do is to reach out to a set of people, learn from their experiences, collate their experiences, and then filter out. And maybe you have 10 thoughts that have come on the table or 10 suggestions. Choose two or three that you feel go well with your aspirations, your strengths, and then do that. So I feel it's very, very important to actually reach out to people. That's the best way of actually, doing things the right way. And this is also, I think, a reason why we are doing this webinar today, so that maybe
Right.
my experience could help, say, a few people who are going to be entering a B school very, very soon.
Of course. There are no two ways about it. Okay, so let's go a little back in your background. And as you were an engineer and you had come from a science background, what were the things that you had experienced for the first time, be it in terms of academics or extracurriculars? Like, I believe you might not have read upon the basics of finance and accounting in the earlier years of your life. So, what are the things specifically you believe that engineers who make up for the maximum proportion of any B school should work on to improve their CV? Yes.
Okay, so I think this question I don't think I'll be able to do complete justice to it because so if an engineer enters as a fresher versus an
Right.
engineer who enters with a specific amount of work ex will have
Hmm.
very different experiences.
Hmm.
Even when an engineer enters with some amount of work ex, the kind of work ex that they're entering with also makes a difference. For example, a lot of engineers work in IT sectors and they work with IT companies where they're doing coding roles and then enter into a B school. Versus in my case, I was doing a core marketing role and I entered a B school with the intent of continuing to work in the marketing domain.
Hmm.
So for me, finance, HR, operations, these were very new things, obviously, but marketing was something I was very interested in. While I did B2B, I wanted to go to B2C, which is why I'm at Colgate today. That was also very different. So yes, things are very, very different, but what you understand as a working professional is the acumen and understanding of a business, because at the end of the day when you're employed, all of you are working towards the business objectives, which could be top line, bottom line, the other functions that are there in an organization. So while I
Right.
had the overall understanding, more detailed understanding or more in-depth knowledge is something that I gained when I joined the B school, and also from a lot of peer interaction, because people had come from different industries. Freshers had their own set of notions and ideas. So it was like all a good diverse mix and match of learning and understanding and absorbing. It's actually a lot. It gets overwhelming also at times.
So, like, do you think people should also pursue certain kind of courses or online internships of some sort to know accounting or financing, so to say?
In my opinion, I don't subscribe to that idea. Like a
Right.
lot of people do certifications these days where they are going to learn. This is another way of upskilling these
Hmm.
days. But I always felt that doing a certification just to mention it on your CV is not the best way of going about things. And I also personally feel that at a B school everything is taught from scratch. Like it at a finance course, the first term is going to have the professor is going to be teaching you everything from scratch, because they know that 70% of the class is coming from an engineering background and they don't even know what debit and credit is. So the
Right.
first class is about teaching, they teach you what an income statement is, how a balance sheet looks like, or how is a transaction debited or credited in the balance sheet and a ledger and everything. So everything is taught right from the basics. And in my opinion, I don't think that wasting any time in doing these courses beforehand makes any sense at all. But there are a lot of people who have a very different opinion from mine on this, and I've
Right.
heard that maybe it works for them. For me, it did not, because I felt that I'd rather do things which are not going to be a part of my experience at a B school. Because if these things are already present, I might as well go there and then learn all of these things.
So, like when you used to have such discussions with people, why do you think people do subscribe to such courses, online courses or books or like blogs or many things people do today? So,
Okay. When we are entering a B school, we are all aware that it's going to be an extremely competitive space.
right,
Everybody knows that, the top minds, the cream, like we say, the most creamiest layer of the country, all school, college toppers are going to be entering the B school, and everybody wants to do well. So I think it's also a rat race where people want to, be ahead of others. That gives you a sense of security or safety, maybe. So maybe people can fall prey to that, or maybe people really feel that they are very interested in it, and learning this is going to help them, ask more relevant questions, learn the subject better once they join the B school. It could be anything, but I feel that one should not do it under any peer pressure or, that scare, which is very natural. I was
right,
also very scared. I was very scared of, how am I going to manage the academics at IIM Lucknow? And it's called HELL. So it's abbreviated as HELL because of
right,
the academic pressure that's there at Lucknow. But, it's always going to be there. But one should know that we are all on the same boat. Maybe speak to your other students who are going to be joining, and, other friends. And I just feel that one should take it a little easy. And maybe even this webinar, if it helps people to, ease down and take it easy. I personally feel that this could be a very big reason as to, why people take up accounting courses, which in my head is not really necessary. Once you go to a B school, in your first term, your subject is going to teach you everything from scratch. So no need to worry about it.
so as you said that you have been through the whole journey and experienced all of it, how much do you think was true in terms of your imagination, be it when we talk about the extracurricular nature or the curriculum? How much similar was it? How intimidating was it in reality?
Okay. I won't lie. It was extremely intimidating and competitive, but it was much better than what I expected. So I think, looking back, I think it was one of the best experiences that I've lived through in terms of achievements, in terms of learnings, in terms of making friends, everything, extracurriculars, positions of responsibility. Like, I think I have fully lived the 2 years of my MBA like extremely well. Maybe the experience differs from people to people. Like, I was this always extremely enthusiastic person who wanted to participate in a lot of things and do a lot on campus and things like that. So I had like a great time. So it will get intimidating, it will get competitive, and there is no escape to that, because everybody there, so you are all fighting for that, maybe that position, or maybe that job, or maybe that competition. Everybody wants to win, whoever's participating.
Right.
So it will obviously be competitive, but I think there are enough opportunities. Having said that, there is enough opportunity for everyone. There's enough room. There's enough space for everyone. Everyone can do well. That's the beauty of, being a part of a good B school, where they give you that platform to excel as long as you can give in that hard work and sincerity. So I personally feel that it was intimidating, it was overwhelming, it was not easy, and it won't be for anyone. If it's easy, then something's wrong.
Right. So just added to the discussion we have been having right now, uh, what are the few things in which engineers have an upper edge in comparison to the non-engineers? Something which non-engineers can work on right now.
Okay. Okay, so I feel like this was like a common wave even on campus. Like our non-engineer friends would crib a lot about this particular subject called quantitative ability or quants or quam. It's called different things on different campuses. So it's more about statistics. So given that we are engineers, we've read a lot of this, we've done a lot of this math even during our undergrad. So that was a little difficult for the non-engineers. They really felt that it was too quant heavy and they haven't read about it before. So they were not too comfortable with it. But apart from that, most of the subjects like, HR, marketing, commerce, accounting, all of these things are like economics are taught to non-engineers more in depth. So for them, those subjects were much easier. So it's always going to be a mixed bag, where you will find some things easy as compared to others. So it was like all balanced at the end of the day.
So do you think non-engineers should pursue or read upon those subjects beforehand?
No. I would suggest no one should read anything before going to the campus. Everything is taught from scratch. People should work on other things. Maybe if you want, go ahead and do like a dance class, do a pottery class, or maybe participate in other sports, do an internship, go join a company, make your own Instagram page, sell stuff, be a baker. Please do things like that, which help you do things which you will not be doing on campus. Please don't do things which you will already be doing on
Right.
campus. There is no point or merit in doing that.
So, since we know that today there is a lot of information at everybody's disposal, people start making castles in their head about the field they want to get in, the job they want to get. So, do you think people have all the clarity in their head about the field they want to get in? Suppose, say, I want to get into consulting. So, should I be sure about that before actually getting into a B school so that I eventually pick up those specific activities which help me on my career going ahead?
So there can be two types of people. People like me who had a lot of clarity that they wanted to get into marketing, which is why all the activities that I did were more marketing oriented. And that
Right.
is because I had almost 3 years of experience in marketing, which
Right.
is why I had that confidence that I like this domain. I want to do more in this domain. Tomorrow I might go ahead and say I don't like marketing anymore and might want to do something else. That's completely all right. So the second type of people who enter a B school have no clue as to what they want to do, which is perfectly all right, because a B school gives you enough room to experiment and understand what you want to do, which is what summer internships are for.
Right.
You can, maybe if you have a gut feeling that you are cut out for this domain, you can very much try your hand at it during summers. And when you go to that company or role, and when you do that work, and if you think you don't like it, you can sit for another job in the final placements. So, and then you have 1 full year to build your CV for that. So there is enough time. So it's completely okay to A, know what you want, or B, not know what you want. Both kind of people exist on campus. And today, looking back, both kind of people on campus are doing extremely well. So there is no one way or one formula to success.
Right, that actually helps. And I also would want to know that in a B school, we see that all the learning which goes around is case-based learning. You read a lot of case studies. So for somebody who has not been a part of any case competition or hasn't read any case study beforehand, how should that person approach this? Prepare
Okay.
for it. Yeah.
Okay. So I had not read any case study or participated in any case competition, but then I
Okay.
did well in both when I joined a B school. In fact, I co-authored a case study when I joined a B school. So again, so everything that B school as a platform provides that accommodates for non-experienced people. So everything that's designed at a B school is designed keeping in mind someone who has not experienced this before. That's how the entire build up is. When you start doing case studies, your professors in the beginning will teach you how to read case studies, how to approach case studies, how to dissect it, how to find information from it. So none of it is needed in advance. If you know it from before, it's great because you
Right.
can then add more value in the classroom, which is what happens. There are some people in the class who have done it before and then they add more value to the discussions, and other people also learn from them. But sooner or later, everybody gets into the habit of reading and understanding, and it's no rocket science. So it just gets easier with time. And I think the professors and your peers like really help you. And these schools may, there is this culture of, study groups. So, for example, before our accounting exams, we would have CAs in study groups who would like teach the others because they are masters in it.
Right.
So there will always, you'll always find one or two people who are better or who have done these things in the past, and they like are instrumental in helping everybody else because there's a culture of sharing and learning, and that's present across these schools. So that will always be there. Even our seniors become our mentors, and officially they are our tutors, and they are supposed to take extra classes for students who are not understanding well in the class so that they can cope up with the rest of the class. So the system is designed in a way that everybody at the end of the day can perform well. They give you enough avenues.
Right. So, Niharika, from the entire discussion we have been having, I'm guessing that you had so much clarity because your background and your work experience did help you a lot. So, what do you think has been the contribution of your previous workspace? And I mean, I understand that a person cannot build a work experience in the next 2 months, but for people who are trying, are aspirants for the future MBA, do you think work experience actually helps before going for an MBA?
It does. It did help me, but then there are lots of freshers who come
Right.
in without experience, and they use Bschool as a way to explore कि हमें क्या करना है आगे. And there are lots of people who come with work also but don't have clarity. For example, कोई software से आ रहा है या फिर manufacturing से आ रहा है, and now they want to move to finance. So not everybody has the clarity or know-how, and not having clarity is not a negative point. Not having clarity at all till the end of 2 years of B school is a rubbish thing.
Right.
Not having clarity for the first 6 months is absolutely okay and can be accommodated for. But at some point, you need to have clarity. So I think people should not, worry about the fact that they do not have WorkX because they can't turn the world around, or
Right.
somehow can't get WorkX right now. And freshers are also, very welcome, and their thoughts and their learnings are different from people who have WorkX. So everybody has their space. So I think people who are freshers should not worry so much. What helps them is that they are coming from academics, and there's no break as such, so they can be more focused also on academics. They don't have an academic break, so they do better in terms of grades also. So that also helps. Like ऐसा कोई templated answer नहीं है for this. I think to each their own. Every person does very differently. It's very unfair to categorize yourself as, if I'm somebody with WorkX, I should have clarity. If there's a fresher, that person should do well in acads. It doesn't really work like that. We make these buckets and brackets, but honestly, it doesn't work like that.
So
And
if
it
you could
shouldn't.
retrospect, how different that Niharika would have been if she had gone to a B school with no WorkX? How different her experiences would have been?
Okay, I can't imagine that. I think my WorkX made me way more confident about things.
Right.
And I think even the B school made me way more confident today than I was 2 years back. Like today, I think I'm a much more confident person. It gave me way more. So see, yahi hota hai, right? Our parents tell us ki, you will know when you are of our age, because unko wo experience hai at their age, which we don't have. So it's just about experience and time. You should ideally be more wiser 2 years down the line than you are today. So it's just like, it's just that maybe, your experiences, you learn from your experiences basically. So I also did, and that helped me change myself as a person in both good and bad ways, mostly positive. So yeah, I think this is like a common blanket rule for everyone. The more experience you have, maybe you will have more learnings, but you might not be better than ones who don't have experience. So I think it's a very individual journey. Everybody goes through it.
Also depends on your opportunities and circumstances, I believe.
Totally. These are very, very subjective things. And this is what makes you who you are as a person. So everybody's experiences will be very different. That's why everybody's behavior, attitude, personality, everything is going to be very different. So no one should fret about these small things. People should, just try to make the most of the ongoing opportunity or opportunity that's there to come in the future.
Right. Also, Niharika, we see that people suggest on pursuing Excel and PowerPoint courses or something like that. So how important do you think all of this is?
Okay. Excel, maybe not. Excel is something which really helps. Again, Excel ka bhi course hota hai. So we have 2 courses on Excel at the B School, which are compulsory courses where they teach you basic Excel formulas, advanced Excel formulas and everything. So, and PowerPoint, if people can do it, of course, it might help because, I didn't do it, but I know PowerPoint is very necessary once you go to a B school, and good looking presentations are always appreciated than average looking ones.
Right.
So, if people are able to do it, if they have the time to do it, then might as well do it. But I would still say that using your time to do better things make more sense, because you will anyway have to make tons of presentations once you are at a B school, and it's learning on the go. So you will anyway end up learning it, because you'll end up making hundreds of presentations once you are on campus.
Thank you so much. It was really insightful having this chat with you. So, Niharika, my last question to you would be, what are your final sense to everybody who's waiting out for the results and are hoping they convert their best calls?
First of all, I'd like to wish everybody good luck, to converting their best calls. And I can guarantee that it's going to be like a great 2 year ahead, because it was a great journey for me. Uh, for whatever little time, I think we're sitting in April, and people start joining a B school by June. So I think whatever little time is left, people should maybe spend time with families, friends, etc. And now in 1 month, they can't really change anything much. So maybe just, start preparing yourself mentally for the churn and the excitement that the B school is going to bring. So yeah, I think way to go. Great, great journey ahead.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Niharika, for all the insights. I am sure that it will help many MBA aspirants figure out the way ahead. Also, to all our audience, thank you for watching us till the end. One more thing that you can do to make the best of your time is to network and get the best industry insights. And for that, Inside IIM is back with the season 5 of Conversations Cafe. Today was the first day of the season, and going ahead, we'll have sessions in Mumbai, Bangalore, and Gurgaon. Please find the link in the description below and book your spots. Thank you, Niharika, for joining us. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.